Mercedes-AMG Interview Lounge.
Please welcome our friend Adam Lambert.
Woo!
Who?
Adam!
And wearing a chain.
Morning.
Look at that chain you have as jewelry. I like that.
You could take me for a walk.
I could.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's happened before.
Well, you know.
I like the boots.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Let's deconstruct Adam.
yeah let's see.
We'll start with the chain.
He always looks good.
Aw.
You do.
I know that.
Before we get started, I gotta say one thing. I was watching your tribute to Cher at the Lincoln
Kennedy Center.
Kennedy Center Honors.
Yeah.
Did you hear his version of?
Gives you goosebumps.
Can I play a song again? You have
Please,
to listen to
yeah.
it. Don't ruin your hair. Your hair's perfect.
Oh, it's headphone hair. It's
Okay.
really styled correctly for
Believe. So Cher is sitting up there watching him. First of all, it's Cher.
I
Right.
was like pissing my pants, you know. I was like, Cher.
So one of our favorite songs by Cher is of Believe, right? And I was like, okay, I'm like, okay, Adam's going to sing it like that and make fun of her. But listen to this arrangement. This was unbelievable. Play this.
And baby, I'm too good for you. Do you believe in life after love? I can feel something inside me say, I really don't
Oh my God.
feel strong enough, love. Do you believe in life after love?
See what I'm saying?
It's good.
Unreal.
Aw.
See, okay. So you hear that. I don't think you hear what we hear.
No, I'm
do
I'm really hard on myself. I like pick it apart. I'm like, I didn't hit that one part right. Like I'm so it's like my blessing and my curse.
But every artist says that because we've asked that because they always say the song is never perfect.
No.
Yeah.
No. But it's the thing that keeps you pushing. Like
Yeah.
like if you're never satisfied, it kind of makes you work harder,
Yeah.
you know? So it's like
I get that, but I got to ask this question, and I want you to be just brutally honest. I want to hear a yes. Have you ever hit a note and you actually freaked yourself out because the moment was perfect? It was like, oh my God.
I don't think that way. I freak myself out when I go, oh, I hit it wrong. Like
Oh my God.
I'm such a perfectionist. It's terrible. But, you know, it keeps me working hard.
Okay.
I don't get too comfortable, which is a good thing.
Would you like a Bloody Mary?
I'm going to pass.
Okay, all right. Uncle
This
Johnny had
morning.
Bloody Marys.
Yeah, but those look beautiful.
Oh, Uncle Johnny's famous. He's been making these out at in Cherry Grove on Fire Island for 64 years.
They look beautiful. These are these are the non-Jewish Bloody Marys. Obviously, there's some pork in there.
Yes, a little pork.
There's a little pork in there.
But it was a Jewish pig.
What? Okay.
I don't think that makes it any better.
That pretty much fixes
You met him on Fire Island. Yeah.
So you've been. All right. So look, I don't know where to start. Let's start with Global Citizens Festival. I know I'm bringing her out on stage tomorrow.
Ooh, I love her.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
But do you want to tell everyone who's bringing you out on stage tomorrow?
Am I allowed to announce it?
Well, I have it written down.
It's a public comment? Is it a surprise?
Well, now I feel like an ass. But
It's listed that he's going to be there.
Okay, yeah, Rami's going to introduce us.
Rami Malek.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Is
Yeah.
Is he going to wear his party teeth?
I hope so. I hope so.
Why is it important for you to be a part of Global Citizens Festival tomorrow?
If you know about this organization, it's unbelievable because instead of doing the typical thing where they take the profits from the tickets and then they donate that to a charity, they actually encourage everybody to download. You have to earn your ticket. So you have to download an app. You have to take a list of different actions for different incentives. And that's how you earn your ticket. So what it does is it allows fans to get really involved. It's educational. It teaches you. And what they're doing is they're urging big major world governments with extra money to donate billions of dollars to these different causes. It's not just the profits of a concert. It's like big, big money.
Right.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Have you been before?
No, I haven't, but I've heard about it.
We were talking about Bohemian Rhapsody. That last scene where Queen is on stage at
Live Aid. Yeah.
Live Aid.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a billion people, and maybe I'm plus or minus a few. I mean, it's hundreds of thousands, right?
Hundreds of thousands.
I'm excited.
It's insane.
I'm so excited.
So you're gonna have your moment up there.
Yeah.
And the weather is supposed to be incredible this weekend.
Now I have to figure out what I'm going to wear.
Oh, here he goes.
Something breathable.
That's the most important part.
My favorite thing Adam just did, it wasn't what he said, it's what he did after. I don't know what to wear.
That was like my first question when they told us that we were going to be at the Academy Awards this last year. I hung up the phone and went, what am I going to wear? I'm such a queen. It's like the first thing that runs through my head.
And that's okay. Some of the headliners, of course, Pharrell, Alicia Keys, Queen, Adam Lambert, One Republic, Her. I'm kind of nervous bringing Her out. I love her. I love it.
I'm so honored to be part of this lineup. That's some real great music that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I
Are
think
there
it's going
any
to be
people
awesome.
there that you're like freaked out to see or meet?
I've met a lot of these people. I haven't met Her, actually. I'd like to meet Her.
You have to meet Her.
But it'll be good to see Pharrell again. We worked together on my 2 albums ago. We wrote some songs together, so it'll be good to see him. And I love One Republic. I love Ryan Tedder. Yeah, it's going to be great.
So you'll see him and Her.
Yeah. I haven't met Alicia Keys before. I like her a lot, too. So maybe that would be a cool
that'd be
introduction.
cool.
Like,
yeah.
where have you been?
I'm
Do a little something.
yeah,
Maybe
trying to get dressed, you know?
She's awesome.
You
So,
know what I would like to see?
What?
Super Bowl.
Oh,
Now that we
wow.
have J-Lo at Super Bowl. How cool would you and Queen be at Super Bowl?
That would be fun.
Would be incredible.
doing Superpower at Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Ooh,
By the
They
way,
said they will
yes.
add extra guests too.
Yeah.
J-Lo, hit me up.
You know, I just found out in the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, which I loved, Adam is in the film
Where?
playing himself.
No.
That's not me. I wouldn't do that. Nope, not at all. Nope.
Do you,
I'm a trucker. It's a very tiny little cameo for a joke.
Well, set the scene up.
You know when he's like at the rest stop when he calls Mary on the payphone and he's like talking to her and the trucker gets out of the truck and kind of cruises him before going into the men's room? That's
you.
me.
It's Adam.
Oh.
Don't blink.
And we did that. You know, it's all about like when if anybody knows what cruising is, like old school cruising, it's the second look.
Uncle Johnny knows.
Yeah.
It's the look back.
Absolutely.
It's the one look and then you keep walking and then it's if you get that second look, you're like, yeah, we're in.
I mean, Uncle Johnny's done Blow with Liza Minnelli. He's been around.
Hey, lady.
Hello, lady. Come on, give him a hello, lady.
Hello, lady.
You know what?
You're my spirit animal. I love you.
Something that's really, really interesting about Uncle Johnny. I'm glad you could really just officially meet him today. He has been a bartender in the gay bars on Fire Island for 64 summers.
I love that.
He moved to New York City with a drag queen and didn't understand what being gay was because that was in 1964, right?
1963. Yes.
Wow.
So here we are,
Love that.
this year, the 50th for Stonewall, and
Yeah.
having Uncle Johnny as our national treasure.
I worked at Stonewall before the riots. and I
Really?
was there the night of. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He was the riot before the riots. but you know, it's just it's so important because of LGBTQ youth don't really understand how the road was paved for us.
Yeah.
And I think you're kind of young too, Adam Lambert.
Thanks for saying that.
Well, no, you are. Your skin is still looking supple.
It's the spackle I applied this morning, actually.
It's just kind of. I think it's so important to understand.
I
Who was-
totally agree. I think our history is very important, and obviously in the 80s, so many of our elders were wiped out. So it's a really interesting time because I think we're sort of at a cultural apex again. We're part of the mainstream, but it took a really long time to sort of recover from the AIDS crisis, and now we're learning about our culture and we're building new culture. It's beautiful.
You know, and Uncle Johnny tells stories about what they would go to the bars in New York City and they would put them in the trucks and take them to the precinct.
Oh, we'd be standing on the street talking, and there was no congregating of homosexuals. They would put you in jail.
They'd throw them in
Yeah,
jail. But
you could get
I ha-
arrested. Yeah,
I happen to have a picture here 50 years ago. And
Bring it to what you want to.
I'd love to see it.
Oh, what
Well,
a
you got-
fox.
This is like Queen.
Yes. He looks a little like Freddie Mercury here.
Oh yeah.
Look at Uncle Johnny.
Oh, Daddy. Get it. Look at this.
Right back in the day.
Hot damn.
Uncle Johnny.
Johnny.
27.
Oh, look at that.
Johnny was getting a lot of A.
But Nelly, what's your motto now, Johnny? What's his motto
If
now?
you can get it up, you can have it.
Yeah.
Hey, shut up.
Get it up at yours.
It'll be,
I love that.
It'll be your motto one day. So, okay, let's get back to all things Adam. Of course, I downloaded your EP, and I loved. Well, I didn't know it was an EP at first. I'm like, this thing's only $3.99. This
Yeah.
is
What a deal.
what a bargain.
That's because it's only half of it.
It is. I decided to release Velvet in 2 halves, and
Why?
I'm calling it Side A Side B to kind of evoke the vinyl feel because a lot of it's very retro. I wanted to just kind of stretch out the whole thing. You know, when you go to like a really nice restaurant, they don't just throw everything on one plate at one time. you get your appetizer, your first course, your second course, your dessert. It makes you more satisfied, right?
So in other words, you're not happy with the second half yet. So you're redoing it. No,
I just want to I just want to stretch it out a little bit.
He's album edging.
Yeah, you're album edging. Are you album edging?
I respect that.
It's
I like that. I like that.
Good God, Adam. Hurry.
She's got it.
She got it. Album edging. Well, you know what? It's so great because I mean, back in the days of Queen, it was an album, and the album was the whole thing. It was the production. It was it. And now you can do like a lot of our friends do, and not even have an album. Just release it one
I
single.
think there's just no rules anymore. It's like
you're okay with that?
Yeah, I like it. I think the flexibility is great.
What was the first song you heard that made you pop into action and go, this is why I want to be in music? Do you remember the first song you heard that just kind of was at a point, maybe not music?
I don't know what song in particular, but I know that like being at home growing up, my dad was a DJ in college.
Right.
And a total music lover. And my mom's a music lover too. And they had all this vinyl, a lot of it from the 70s and the early 80s. And so like that's what was playing all the time in the house. And I think that kind of like, through osmosis, it kind of like sunk in. And that's like part of my DNA musically. Those are the first songs I heard. That's what made me understand what music was. And so actually on this project, I purposely said I want to do like sort of an album that my parents are going to love as well as, my peers.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I wanted to reference these great classics because I think they're timeless. They don't go out of style. And doing that kind of music made it so I didn't have to like be anything that I wasn't. It just came naturally.
When you told your parents, I'm going to sing with Queen, did they freak out?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I did on the finale, that was like
Yeah.
a big deal. And then as like we started working together a couple years later, it was surreal for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I remember my dad said like, "Well, this is kind of cool. I have something to like really legit to brag about at work."
Finally.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Nothing till then.
My kid with the black fingernails is doing something.
Now it makes sense. It all
really
makes
cool.
sense.
Hey, I asked this question because I love to ask this question. What song was it from your past that maybe didn't get you into music, but was there when you were going through the roughest time? In other words, when you hear it now, you're like, boom, okay, that was my moment.
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Okay, that's okay.
I mean, I grew up like obsessed with Michael Jackson and Madonna.
Right.
Like that was like that was my current pop stars. Then I just thought they were like the king and queen.
Danielle had a crush on George Michael.
Oh, I was so convinced he was going to be mine, and then I found out he was not going to be mine.
Yeah.
Lots of reasons.
You know what? I remember when Faith was out. I remember hearing that on the radio when it was out, and like my mom would drive us. My little brother and I would we'd be doing errands or something with mom, and the song would be on, and then also In Excess, Need You Tonight.
Wow.
And both of those were on around the same time, and every time In Excess came on, my mom would be like, oh, "He's so sexy."
Oh wow.
And of course I'm young, so I'm like, "What is that? What is she talking about?"
Oh,
Yeah. So now when I hear the song, I'm like, "So sexy."
sexy.
I hope your mom's not listening right now.
I hope she is.
She's like, oh. But she can't get all hot and bothered with her son on the radio at the same time.
Watch it.
This is a sexy song.
It is.
Hey, you know what? I'll tell you my story. I walked into my brother's bedroom, which I was not supposed to be in, and he had a turntable and this beautiful sound system. And I pulled this album out of the jacket as I'd seen him do because I didn't really know how a record worked.
Yeah.
I put it on the thing and I put the needle on, and it was Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bam.
And I never really ever understood what being moved by music was until that song, because that song is like 15 different songs in one.
Totally.
It's opera, it's rock, it's guitars, it's lyrics. They were like,
yeah,
you killed a man. What the hell?
They're like so cryptic too.
Yeah.
You're like, what's this about? Like, yeah.
Do you remember the first time you heard Bohemian Rhapsody?
I heard it in Wayne's World. I remember going
That's
to see the movie with my brother and my father, and like being like, what is this? You know, because I was like a theater kid. I was doing a lot of musicals, so it kind of rang that bell for me because it was so operatic. And I went home and I asked my dad about it, and he pulled out a Queen album. And I remember seeing the picture of Freddie on the cover with the band, and yeah, he was all kind of glammed up with his makeup and his eyeliner. And I was like, oh, this guy and I might have something in common. Yeah. And he likes to play dress up like me. What does this mean?
What's that all about?
Yeah.
But do you recall a time you actually had headphones on and you listened to Bohemian Rhapsody from beginning to end, and you just really fell into it?
I think a little later in life, I started, like, I think when I was like a teenager, I started kind of getting into classic rock and like really, besides just hearing it around the house, but really like diving in and researching and kind of discovering new artists. And, you know, the internet helped with that.
Yes.
It was brand new. And yeah, I think like hearing the Queen songs for the first time and also seeing him perform them live. Seeing the videos of him.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing like videos of Freddie like running around in a pair of little white shorts barefoot on stage like a wild man. I was like, this guy's great.
He owned it.
He was just such an original.
And I see, I'm sure you're tired of hearing this, but we see that in you and your performances as
Oh,
well, Adam.
thanks.
So, you know.
I love the fact that my 14-year-old loves it. Like, to me, it's crazy. Like, but that's what YouTube and I feel like the internet has done too. Like, he keeps listening to these artists that I never would have thought that he would have even known. And he
Good.
goes, "Oh, Mom, listen to this." I'm like, "It's a new song." I'm like, "It's not a new song, honey." But he loves it.
Well, and also the movie. I think the movie
Yeah.
like kind of brought out a lot of new fans. When we were on tour this summer here in the United States, it's like I was looking in the audience and it was a way younger than it's ever been.
Wow.
I
You know,
love
we've been
that.
touring for like 8 years
Yeah,
now.
I know.
So it's you know, and we were doing just fine, but the movie has like thrown things through the stratosphere.
Wow.
It's crazy.
And it's so interesting to hear all of you talking about you being so rock and glam and all of that because weirdly enough, you reintroduced me to Motown.
Aw.
Because when you were on American Idol and you did Tracks of My Tears by Smokey Robinson,
Oh, that was a nice
I got
night.
teary and I was like, let me go check out some more of this.
Aw.
And now I'm all about Motown. I liked it before, but I kind of thought it was like, that's for my parents.
See
I'm
what
not
you
gonna
did?
Listen. Yeah.
Aw.
But now your rock and roll self gave me Motown again.
And I think that's the power of classic songs. Like there are genres and artists out there that like will never go out of style. It always sounds fresh, no matter what time it is, no matter what year it is. And that was the thing that inspired Velvet, is that I just wanted to make music that was sort of an homage to the greats, you know, and that didn't feel like in 2 years it would sound dated, you know?
Velvet. Download it. It's only like $3.99.
Yeah, it's like $3.99 or $4.99.
What could go
But
wrong?
because it's only the first half, guys.
It is. It's the gateway
You gotta
drug
pay
to
for
the
the
second
second
half. Of course, Adam Lambert will be at Global Citizens Festival tomorrow. I can't wait to watch you, but I'm going to get out of the backstage. I'm going to go stand right up front. I'm sure that'll be easy there.
Bring your earplugs. It gets loud.
That's going to be amazing. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up next, we got to play Superpower.
Yeah.
And I may even throw in some Bohemian Rhapsody, too.
Yeah, why
Just
not?
Mix it up. Adam Lambert.
Thank you.